Hi, so today we're going to talk about polyrhythm, which is a very interesting topic, especially for guitar players, because I don't think a lot of guitar players put enough time to study rhythms in general, and specifically polyrhythms. We're more concerned, just scales and running the guitar and maybe chords or chord voicing and other stuff. But polyrhythms, it's very interesting and really important. It's one, a major aspect of the music. So you have harmony, you have melody, and you have rhythm. So if you didn't spend in your life a lot of time on rhythm, so that's the time to do it now. So we're gonna talk about and see what is polyrhythm actually. So polyrhythm, just the basic definition of just the basic idea is to play two rhythms at once, and those two rhythms have to be at the same frame. So for example, if I have this length of can be a bar, or that can say that's 5 seconds or 4 seconds, but this length, and then I have 4 beats here equally separated from each other, 4 beats equally located from each other. So on this same amount of time that I'm playing 4 beats, so on the upper level or the lower, whatever you want to look at it, so I'm going to run another meter or another rhythm that's running on the same time but it's just different. So it can be here 4 beats, and then here on the same time can be 3 beats or 5 beats or 7 beats, or here can be instead of 4 beats 3 beats or 5 beats, and here can run like 2 beats, but exactly the same time. And every bar or every time frame they reset. That means they just start all over again, those two rhythms. That's basically polyrhythm. And another thing we're going to talk today is grouping. So grouping is just to take, if we talked about that's run exactly on the same amount of time, so grouping is actually two different rhythms, but they don't run exactly on the same time. So one can run on this amount of time, and another one can run on this amount of time, but they still run parallel. Every, I don't know, depends on which combination you take, but every few bars, 5 or 6 or 7 or 10, then they're going to kind of reset. But they don't run on exactly the same time. So I can play like 4 beats here, or 4 rhythm here, and I can play phrase my playing with groups of 3, which is like shorter, but they're going to add up. But never mind. Let's just take a look on a few examples that's going to make it clearer, and also going to give you the opportunity actually to practice that on the guitar and to feel how does it feel to play two different rhythms. So let's take a look. Let's see the first example first, and we're going to talk about that. It's really basic, so let's start from that. So okay, so as you can see, the first one, which says exercise 1, I'm going to play, if you see the lower line is 4 notes for each bar, and I'm going to play the notes G, I'm going to play it twice, and then the note A twice. That's what's going on in the second line, the bass line. So I'm going to play on the 6th string the 3rd fret, and then on the 6th string the 5th fret. That's going to give me G and A. And then if you see on the upper line, I'm playing half notes, which means every note is equal like for 2 beats. And I'm playing the note E, just open string. So now let's take a look how does it look on the guitar. So I'm going to play the note G here, and then the note A. So I'm going to play each one twice. That's going to give me a 4/4 rhythm. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, that's one part. And then the upper line, I'm just going to play the open string E, and I'm going to play it every 2 beats. So basically here I have like a really basic polyrhythm that I have 4/4 on the bass, and on the upper string, on the melody, let's call it, so I have 2 notes. So that's going to run together. So second example. So what I did here is actually playing exactly the same thing we just played, but just I'm displacing the top voice. Instead of starting it on the first beat, I'm going to start it on the second beat. And actually now I see you should tie those two quarters. If you see, I have a half note and then two quarters. That should be a tie, because basically you only play a half note there. So that is another thing to give you just the idea what is displacement. That means you can still play the same polyrhythm. Doesn't mean you have to start it like on one. You can start it on the second or the third beat or the fourth beat and still play the same polyrhythm, but just with the displacement. So that's going to sound like that. I'm going to play the upper voice, instead of beat 1 and 3 like I played, just on beat 2 and 4. So it's going to sound like that. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2. Yeah, so that's not exactly polyrhythm, but it comes from the first idea we talked about, which is polyrhythm, and we just adjusted with the displacement. So that can give you ideas for all the other exercises that you're going to see here today. You can always displace them, and also for other stuff you can come up with. So just think the next level would be to displace all the stuff we're doing. So let's take a look on the third example. So here we're actually going to have a grouping example. That means we're going to still use the same principles we played on exercise 1 and 2, which means playing in 4/4 and playing half notes on the top voice. But as you can see in the example, we're going to play a pattern of 3 notes. If you see also the numbers, it says 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's the grouping. So I group them in a certain way. So I'm using the polyrhythm like we used, but also I'm using kind of an inner pattern to group those notes together. So why is it grouping? Because I'm playing 3 different notes and recycle the same. I'm cycling the same 3 notes, which is, if you can see, exercise 3, E, and then we have B, and then we have G, and then we have E again, B and G. So that's what means the grouping. So let's take a look. How do we play that? So I play the same bass like we just played, and here I'm going to still play half notes, but the grouping is going to mean that I'm playing the first string and not all the time the first string like we did. So first note is the first string, second note, second string, and third note on the third string. So that's a group of 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to just cycle that again, 1, 2, 3. And let's see how does that sound. So I have here, right, the 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then here I'm going to play half note. So you hear how it sounds like. So I have those 3 notes. Based on the polyrhythm we did, I have those 3 notes. And that's actually we're playing here, if you think about the terms we talked about. So we play, the first layer is 4/4, and let's say the upper layer basically is 2, because we're playing 4 notes, and at the same time we're playing 2 notes. But then I add the grouping, which means those 2 notes we're playing the upper level of the rhythm, so we group them in groups of 3. So I have this layer 4 notes, this layer 2 notes, but they're grouped with 3 notes, like 1, 2, and then the next one is 3. They're kind of a group together, and then that goes every 3 notes. Let's take a look on the next one. Okay, so the next one is going to be in 3